Hey, welcome in. Before you scroll past this, take a closer look at a simple Lincoln wheat penny. Because what looks like everyday pocket change could actually be hiding details most people never notice. Some of these coins carry tiny errors, unusual strikes, or rare characteristics that can completely change their story and even their potential value. And the wild part is, they've been sitting in drawers, jars, and old collections for decades without anyone realizing what they had. So stick around, because once you learn what to look for, you might never see a regular penny the same way again. Step 1. The 1941 United States Lincoln wheat penny, a collectible American coin, emerged during a remarkable period in American history when the nation stood on the edge of profound change. Struck just months before the United States entered World War II, this modest bronze cent circulated through a country experiencing economic recovery, industrial growth, and growing uncertainty about world events. At first glance, it appears to be a simple 1-cent piece, carrying Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat ears framing the reverse design. Yet collectors have spent decades uncovering fascinating details hidden within surviving examples. What makes the coin so captivating is that millions were produced, but only a fraction remain in the kind of condition that sparks serious collector interest today. The appearance of a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny often tells a story long before its history is researched. Some examples display bright reddish surfaces that seem almost untouched despite the passage of decades, while others have transformed into rich shades of brown through years of circulation and storage. The finest specimens reveal sharp lines within Lincoln's hair, strong contours around his coat, and crisp wheat stalk details that stand out under proper lighting. Even the texture of the field surrounding the design can influence collector enthusiasm. A coin that spent most of its life protected from wear may look dramatically different from one that traveled through countless pockets and cash registers, creating a fascinating range of visual possibilities within the same date. The minting environment of 1941 adds another layer of intrigue. America had not yet fully entered wartime production, meaning the coin belongs to a unique period immediately before major changes would reshape the nation and its coinage. Within only a few years, metal shortages and wartime demands would alter how pennies were produced, making the 1941 issue part of the final chapter of a more traditional era of bronze cent production. Every surviving example serves as a small historical artifact from a nation preparing for challenges that few could fully predict. This connection to a pivotal moment in history gives the coin an emotional appeal that extends far beyond its face value. Collectors often become especially interested when examining unusual features and possible mint-produced irregularities. Certain 1941 pennies have displayed evidence of die cracks, strike inconsistencies, repunched details, or subtle doubling visible under magnification. Others reveal intriguing rim formations, minor alignment variations, or unusual die wear characteristics that distinguish them from more common examples. The pursuit of these differences transforms the collecting experience into a treasure hunt, where every tiny detail could potentially reveal something unexpected. While many coins appear identical at first glance, careful examination often uncovers characteristics that tell a far more interesting story about the minting process. As attention shifts toward value, the excitement surrounding the 1941 wheat penny begins to grow. While countless circulated examples remain relatively common collectibles, certain pieces have generated much stronger interest due to condition, eye appeal, or distinctive characteristics. Illustrative market scenarios may place some attractive minor variations within a range of approximately $2,500 to $3,000. More notable examples possessing stronger visual appeal or better preservation can sometimes be discussed around $4,000. High-grade coins displaying exceptional detail, original surfaces, and impressive overall quality may attract attention near $6,000. These figures are only examples of potential outcomes and should never be interpreted as guaranteed values, since every coin must be evaluated individually. The story becomes even more compelling when unusual mint anomalies and scarce collector traits enter the picture. Certain pieces exhibiting remarkable production irregularities have inspired discussions around illustrative values near $6,500. Rare collector pieces that combines scarcity with outstanding presentation may sometimes approach $8,000 in favorable circumstances. Exceptionally preserved examples, or less commonly encountered varieties, have occasionally been associated with figures around $8,500. Unusual discoveries, supported by strong collector demand, may generate conversations near $9,500. In extraordinary cases involving remarkable preservation, highly desirable characteristics, or significant historical appeal, some examples can inspire estimates reaching $10,000. These amounts are purely illustrative and depend entirely on authenticity, condition, rarity, and market demand at the time of sale. Part of the coin's enduring magic comes from the possibility that one could still be hiding in an overlooked collection. Imagine opening an inherited box of keepsakes, sorting through forgotten family possessions, or examining a container of old pennies that has remained untouched for decades. The realization that a seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin could potentially represent a financial surprise creates a powerful emotional connection. For some, such a discovery could feel comparable to receiving a sudden windfall, contributing toward a home down payment, or experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime moment that transforms a simple hobby into an unforgettable memory. The possibility of uncovering something remarkable continues to inspire collectors of every experience level. Anyone evaluating a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny should approach the process carefully and responsibly, paying close attention to weight differences, metal color, strike alignment, rim shape, and any signs of letter doubling or unusual design characteristics. Small details can dramatically influence collector interest, and appearances alone are rarely enough to determine significance. Professional authentication and grading remain essential whenever a coin appears potentially valuable or unusual, providing reliable confirmation of authenticity and condition. Yet even after decades of searching, mysteries remain unsolved, because somewhere in a forgotten drawer, old coin jar, or neglected collection, another remarkable wheat penny may still be waiting to reveal its secret, and the next coin in our journey holds a story so unexpected that even experienced collectors rarely see it coming. Step 2. The 1942 United States Lincoln wheat penny emerged from the Denver Mint during one of the most dramatic periods in American history, a time when the nation had just entered World War II and industrial production was accelerating at an unprecedented pace. At first glance, this small bronze coin appears ordinary, carrying the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the classic wheat ears on the reverse. Yet many collectors have discovered that beneath its modest appearance lies a fascinating story of wartime manufacturing, mint craftsmanship, and the possibility of surprising rarity. Produced in large numbers to meet commercial demand, the coin circulated through countless pockets, cash registers, and family collections, making it easy to overlook today, even as certain examples continue to attract intense interest from numismatists searching for hidden treasures among common dates. The visual character of the 1942 penny often reveals far more than casual observers expect. The warm reddish-brown copper color can vary dramatically depending on how the coin was stored, with some surviving pieces retaining vibrant original luster, while others display deeper chocolate tones acquired through decades of circulation. Collectors frequently examine the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the contours of his coat, and the strength of the wheat stalk details to determine how well the coin was struck. A particularly sharp example can appear almost frozen in time, preserving details that many coins lost after years of use. Even subtle differences in surface texture, shine, and wear patterns can transform an ordinary-looking cent into a much more desirable collectible. What makes the 1942 especially intriguing is the historical transition occurring around the American coinage system during the war years. The following year would bring the famous steel cents of 1943, created because copper was needed for military purposes. As a result, many collectors view 1942 coinage as representing the final full year before one of the most dramatic changes in United States circulating coin history. Holding one can feel like holding a small artifact from the threshold of that transformation, a tangible connection to a nation, adjusting to wartime realities, while everyday commerce continued through millions of coins, moving from hand to hand across the country. As interest in Lincoln wheat pennies expanded over the decades, collectors began paying closer attention to unusual striking characteristics and mint-made anomalies. Some examples exhibit die cracks, repunched elements, strike irregularities, or subtle doubling that becomes visible only under magnification. Others may show unusual rim formations, off-center striking tendencies, or distinctive die wear patterns that separate them from standard pieces. The presence of the Denver mint mark beneath the date adds another layer of study, as specialists often compare its shape, position, and appearance against known varieties. These details may seem insignificant to a casual observer, yet they are exactly the kinds of clues that can transform a forgotten coin into an object of considerable collector interest. The excitement grows even further when value enters the story. While many circulated examples remain affordable collectibles, certain pieces with desirable characteristics can reach illustrative value ranges that surprise newcomers. Minor variations, appealing eye appeal, or stronger preservation may place some examples in the $2,500 to $3,000 range under favorable collector circumstances. More notable pieces showing stronger quality or unusual features might approach $4,000, while high-grade examples displaying exceptional detail and original surfaces can sometimes be discussed in the vicinity of $6,000. These figures are illustrative examples of potential market outcomes rather than guarantees, but they demonstrate how dramatically value can change when rarity and condition begin to intersect. For collectors chasing more unusual discoveries, the numbers become even more attention-grabbing. Certain mint-related anomalies, distinctive production irregularities, or highly sought-after collectible traits have inspired discussions around values near $6,500. Particularly attractive and scarce collector pieces can sometimes enter conversations around $8,000, while exceptionally preserved or less commonly encountered examples may be associated with figures near $8,500. In rare situations involving unusual finds, strong collector demand, and compelling characteristics, values around $9,500 have occasionally become part of the conversation. The most extraordinary examples, especially those carrying significant historical appeal or remarkable preservation, can inspire estimates reaching $10,000, although every coin must be evaluated individually and no value is ever guaranteed. Stories of valuable discoveries continue to fuel the fascination surrounding coins like the 1942 D wheat penny. Imagine sorting through an inherited collection, opening an old cigar box from a relative's attic, or searching through a forgotten coin jar only to find a piece that deserves closer inspection. For some people, such a discovery could represent the equivalent of a substantial home down payment, a sudden financial surprise, or a once-in-a-lifetime encounter with history hiding in plain sight. The emotional appeal comes not only from potential value, but also from the realization that an object worth a single cent in commerce can become a meaningful collectible decades later through rarity, preservation, and historical significance. Anyone examining a 1942 D penny should proceed carefully and responsibly, paying attention to weight differences, metal coloration, strike alignment, rim shape, and any signs of letter doubling or unusual design features. Small details often matter enormously, and appearances alone can sometimes be misleading. Professional authentication and grading remain essential whenever a coin appears unusual or potentially valuable, helping confirm whether a discovery is truly special. Yet the greatest mystery remains unsolved, because somewhere in an old collection, a forgotten drawer, or a neglected coin album, another remarkable wheat penny may still be waiting to reveal its secret. And the next coin we explore contains an even more astonishing story that few collectors ever expect to encounter. Step 3. The 1944 United States Lincoln wheat penny, a collectible American coin, emerged during one of the most fascinating transitions in American coinage history. After the steel cent experiment of 1943, the United States Mint returned to producing bronze pennies in 1944, creating a coin that would become closely associated with wartime resourcefulness and manufacturing adaptation. At first glance, it appears nearly identical to other Lincoln wheat cents, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the familiar wheat ears on the reverse, yet its story is far more complex than many collectors realize. Produced while World War II still dominated global events, this humble cent circulated through factories, military communities, and households across America, quietly becoming part of a historic era that continues to capture the imagination of collectors decades later. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1944 wheat penny is its composition and appearance. Unlike the steel cents struck the year before, many 1944 pennies were made using recycled brass and copper recovered from wartime materials, giving some examples subtle differences in color and surface texture. Under proper lighting, original pieces can display vibrant reddish tones, while others reveal warm brown or reddish-brown shades developed through years of circulation. Sharp examples showcase detailed strands in Lincoln's hair, strong facial contours, and crisp wheat lines that seem almost untouched by time. These visual characteristics create endless opportunities for comparison, making each surviving coin feel like a unique historical artifact rather than just another 1-cent piece. The historical backdrop surrounding this coin adds another layer of mystery. America remained deeply engaged in World War II during 1944, and the Mint faced ongoing pressure to balance practical production needs with material conservation efforts. Every coin struck during this period reflects a nation operating at full industrial capacity while supporting a global conflict. Many collectors are drawn to the idea that a simple penny may have passed through the hands of workers building aircraft, families supporting loved ones overseas, or businesses contributing to wartime production. That connection to history transforms the coin from an everyday object into a tangible reminder of one of the most significant periods of the 20th century. Beyond its historical significance, the 1944 wheat penny has earned a reputation for intriguing varieties and mint-related anomalies. Some pieces display die cracks, strike irregularities, repunch details, or subtle forms of doubling that become apparent only under magnification. Others reveal unusual rim formations, off-center strikes, or die wear characteristics that distinguish them from more typical examples. The most famous stories involve rare transitional errors connected to leftover steel planchets from 1943, discoveries that have fueled collector fascination for generations. While such extraordinary pieces are exceptionally uncommon, their existence has inspired countless enthusiasts to inspect every 1944 penny they encounter with far greater attention than they might otherwise give to an ordinary coin. As collector interest increases, the discussion naturally turns toward value. While many circulated examples remain accessible collectibles, certain coins displaying desirable characteristics can attract considerably stronger attention. Illustrative market scenarios may place attractive minor variations and desirable examples within a range of approximately $2,500 to $3,000. More notable specimens possessing stronger visual appeal, sharper details, or recognized collectible traits may sometimes be discussed around $4,000. High-grade examples featuring exceptional preservation and impressive eye appeal can occasionally enter conversations near $6,000. These figures are intended only as examples of possible market outcomes and should never be interpreted as guarantees, since rarity, condition, and demand vary significantly. The excitement becomes even greater when unusual characteristics enter the picture. Certain mint anomalies and uncommon production-related discoveries have inspired discussions around illustrative values near $6,500. Rare collector pieces combining scarcity with strong presentation may sometimes approach $8,000 under favorable circumstances. Exceptionally preserved examples or uncommon varieties can occasionally be associated with figures around $8,500. Unusual finds supported by particularly strong collector demand have generated conversations near $9,500. In extraordinary situations involving historically significant examples, remarkable preservation, or especially desirable characteristics, some coins have inspired value discussions reaching $10,000. These amounts are purely illustrative and depend entirely on authentication, condition, rarity, and current collector interest. The emotional appeal of the 1944 wheat penny extends far beyond numbers. Imagine discovering one tucked inside a forgotten envelope, hidden within an inherited collection, or resting unnoticed among ordinary pocket change accumulated over decades. The possibility that an overlooked coin could represent a sudden windfall creates a sense of anticipation that keeps collectors searching year after year. For some individuals, a remarkable discovery could feel comparable to contributing toward a home down payment, uncovering an unexpected financial opportunity, or experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime moment that turns a casual hobby into a memorable adventure. It is this blend of history, mystery, and possibility that continues to fuel enthusiasm for the series. Anyone evaluating a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny should proceed carefully and responsibly, paying close attention to weight differences, metal color, strike alignment, rim shape, and any evidence of letter doubling or unusual design features. Even small details can dramatically influence collector interest, and appearances alone are rarely sufficient to determine significance. Professional authentication and grading remain essential whenever a coin appears unusual or potentially valuable, providing confidence regarding both authenticity and condition. Yet despite decades of study, remarkable discoveries continue to emerge, and somewhere in an old coin jar, dusty collection, or forgotten drawer, another hidden treasure may still be waiting to be found. And the next coin in our journey carries a mystery even seasoned collectors struggle to explain. Step 4. The 1945 United States Lincoln wheat penny, a collectible American coin, was struck during the final year of World War II, a period filled with uncertainty, sacrifice, and enormous historical change. Produced at the Denver Mint, this small bronze cent traveled through a nation eager for peace, while millions of Americans adjusted to a world transformed by years of conflict. At first glance, the coin appears simple, carrying Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. But beneath that ordinary appearance lies a fascinating connection to one of the most significant chapters in American history. Countless examples circulated heavily, yet a select number survived with remarkable detail, creating a lasting source of intrigue for collectors who continue searching for overlooked treasures hidden among common coins. The visual appeal of a 1945 wheat penny often becomes apparent only after close examination. Original examples can display brilliant reddish surfaces that seem to glow under proper lighting, while others reveal rich brown shades developed through decades of circulation. The sharpness of Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and hair details frequently provides clues about preservation quality, while the reverse wheat stalks can reveal how strongly the coin was struck. Some specimens show remarkably crisp details that appear untouched by time, creating a dramatic contrast against more heavily worn examples. This variation in appearance has helped transform the coin into a favori among collectors who appreciate subtle differences that casual observers might never notice. What adds another layer of fascination is the coin's place within the closing months of wartime coin production. By 1945, the United States Mint had already navigated years of material conservation and manufacturing challenges, making every coin from this era part of a larger story about national resilience. While the famous steel cents of 1943 often capture public attention, many collectors recognize that the 1945 represents the conclusion of an extraordinary wartime chapter. Holding one today can feel like holding a small metallic witness to history, a coin that may have passed through the hands of workers, soldiers, and families experiencing events that shaped the modern world. As collectors studied surviving examples over the years, they began identifying intriguing varieties and mint-produced irregularities. Certain coins display subtle die deterioration, unusual strike characteristics, minor repunching effects, or signs of doubling visible under magnification. Others reveal distinctive rim formations, die cracks, or alignment variations that separate them from standard examples. The small d muntmuck beneath the date has also become a focal point of examination, with specialists analyzing its placement and appearance for clues about production differences. These details may seem insignificant to someone unfamiliar with coin collecting, yet they are often the very characteristics that spark excitement among experienced numismatists. The value discussion becomes especially interesting once condition and rarity begin working together. While many circulated examples remain affordable collectibles, certain pieces can command significantly stronger attention in the marketplace. Illustrative market scenarios may place attractive minor variations or desirable examples in the $2,500 to $3,000 range. Coins displaying more notable features, stronger eye appeal, or better preservation may sometimes be discussed around $4,000. High-grade specimens that retain exceptional detail, strong surfaces, and impressive overall presentation can occasionally enter conversations near $6,000. These figures are examples of possible collector interest and should never be viewed as guaranteed outcomes, since every coin is unique. The story grows even more dramatic when unusual characteristics enter the picture. Certain mint anomalies or uncommon production traits have inspired discussions around illustrative values near $6,500. Rare collector pieces that combine scarcity with strong visual appeal can sometimes attract attention approaching $8,000. Exceptionally preserved or less commonly encountered examples may be associated with figures near $8,500 under favorable circumstances. Unusual finds supported by strong collector demand occasionally generate conversations around $9,500. In extraordinary situations involving remarkable preservation, compelling historical significance, or highly sought-after characteristics, discussions can even reach $10,000. These examples are intended only to illustrate how collector demand can influence value and should never be interpreted as promises or guarantees. Part of the coin's enduring appeal comes from the possibility of discovery. Imagine opening a long-forgotten family coin album, sorting through inherited keepsakes, or examining a container of old cents that has remained untouched for decades. Realization that a seemingly ordinary penny could represent a substantial financial surprise creates an emotional connection that few collectibles can match. For some individuals, a valuable find might feel comparable to receiving an unexpected windfall, contributing toward a home down payment, or uncovering a once-in-a-lifetime piece of history hiding in plain sight. The excitement is not simply about money. It is about the thrill of uncovering something rare when nobody expected it to exist. Anyone evaluating a 1945 D wheat penny should do so carefully and responsibly, paying close attention to weight differences, metal coloration, strike alignment, rim shape, and any evidence of letter doubling or unusual design characteristics. Small details can dramatically influence collector interest, and surface appearances can sometimes be deceptive. Professional authentication and grading remain essential whenever a coin appears potentially valuable or unusual, helping confirm authenticity and condition with greater confidence. Yet the mystery never fully disappears, because somewhere inside an old drawer, forgotten collection, or overlooked coin jar, another remarkable wheat penny may still be waiting to reveal its secrets. And the next coin in our journey contains an even more surprising story that few collectors are prepared to believe.